Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd try my hand at some impasto painting, a landscape, and I love that thick textured look that you get with some paintings, and I want to achieve that. If you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm find me. I'd be very grateful, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button.
I'm painting.
So here we go. And I have my usual palette of colours, the ones that I feel most comfortable working with. Titanium white, cad yellow light, raw sienna, raw umber, French ultramarine blue, sap green, and alizarin crimson. And because I want to get a thick textured impasto effect, I'm adding modelling paste. And that's what it looks like. I'm adding that to all my colours, and hopefully that will give me the thick texture that I want this time. I'm going to use brushes. I might use the odd palette knife, but I think mostly I'll be painting with brushes. I've put a dollop of the modelling paste on each of my colours, and I'll mix those in and then we'll get started. So here are my colours mixed. And you can see it's increased the volume quite considerably. So the first thing I did was make my sketch on tracing paper and decide which way round I wanted my drawing to be, because sometimes I find I draw it one way, but then when I turn the paper over, I like it better in the other direction. And I did like it better in the other direction, so I transferred it to my canvas in the opposite direction. And I should say right up front that this is not any place I know. This is a picture that has elements of things that I like in it. I like the plains of the hillsides, the little birds flying through the sky, the road leading over the bridge, there'll be water here, the church steeple, the cypress trees in the background, the rooftops. You don't really see much of the village there. I've got a horse and her foal in the foreground and some trees on the side, and some rocks in the river. So lots of things that I like to see in a painting. The road leads through the village and over the hills and out of sight. And I just paint what I like, really. I feel that you can do that. And I feel that if you can draw, then you can make up your landscapes. If you draw from a photograph, sometimes things are not perfect in a photograph, are they? And you've got to alter things around, and then you run into this problem of proportion and perspective and terrible things that I'm no good at. So I like to do my own things straight from my imagination. So I'm using a 1/4 inch flat, and I'm going to start on my sky. I might lose the birds, but I'll put them in again later. And I'm going to mix my French ultramarine blue. Where are we? There we are. And some white. And I'm going to put in my sky. I'm going over my trees. I have some trees in this corner, and the sky will peek through. So I want to paint over them first of all. This is not going on in any impasto way, is it? Impasto is an Italian word meaning in paste, and really that's the effect I want to get. So I'm going to plaster that on a bit thicker. There we go. I forgot, I don't usually paint using this technique, so if I forget it here and there, well, forgive me. Okay, I'm going to put some white in there to get it lighter as we go further down. All right, now I'm going to do my trees, so I'll add some sap green to that. It actually might be hooker's green, to be honest. I'm going to put some yellow in here. Oops. Because I want some yellow on these fields that are in the village. As they are more distant, they'll get paler and bluer. Whoops, that's not pale or blue, is it? Okay, I need to rinse out my brush. Try that again. Obviously not working, and Impasto is not my thing, I'm thinking. I think I've lost my river too, so let's put that in. I don't feel it's so bad if you have a green river. I'm going to have some green here. These trees. If I get the wrong colours in, I'll leave it and go over it later. A little brown in here. I'm going to put in my tree trunks. They don't really look like anything, do they? Wait a minute, let's put in. I think I should draw in my horses with a finer brush. My dog is snoring, I apologize for that. He likes to be where I am, and so I can't shut him out of the room. I think the road goes that way. I think it goes that way. Mixed a little alizarin crimson to put in my bridge, and it's just like I'm putting it in roughly. There's a wall that goes down here. It's on the other side of the road too. Okay, I'm going to use a a much finer brush, but it has a shorter handle. And I hope my hand doesn't get in the way. I'm going to put in my horse. And the foal kicking up his heels. And while I've got this tiny brush, I'm going to fill in around. I'm not sure I can actually call this an impasto technique. It's not something I'm good at, but there are a lot of people on YouTube who are very good at it, so I would seek them out. I certainly shall one of these days. I looked at a few of them quite recently, and it's very tempting technique. It looks luscious when it's done properly. Okay, I've got colour around it. It may not be as thick as it could be. I think with impasto pictures, you don't get the detail that I usually put in, and I think that is probably what throws me more than anything else, because there's usually a fair amount of detail in my pictures. Whoops. I think that's where I'm going to go, you know. I'm going to lose a lot of what I have in here. And then go back and put some little tiny details in. Maybe that's the way to go. Fewer details, but I feel better about that already now, having made that decision. Okay, I've got my canvas mostly covered. Not necessarily with the colours I want, but I have got colour on there. Okay, we'll start off with something simple, and I will work on my tree trunks. I'm still using my 1/4 inch flat. But I'm going to change to a very old bristle around. I've had it for years. I dipped it in some water. I'm going to dip it in some yellow and green and a little touch of blue, or maybe brown, and get sort of a nice greenish colour on there, and I'm going to dot it on. And go with more blue underneath. I'm going to dot it in some yellow and go with some yellow on top. I think that's beginning to look a little bit better. So let me take 5 minutes and look at it and see what area I'm going to work on next. That may not be finished, by the way, but it's a start. Okay, so I'm going to put in my road again. I have a very small flat, tiny little flat, and I only have it in a short handle, so I hope that my hand is not getting in the way. I don't know, we're going to suggest there'll probably be things in the way of this. Like I have a church here. And I have some houses up here on the hillside. Something here between these trees, something over here. Just suggesting things now, giving myself sort of a guideline. I really think that this has gone all to hell in a handbasket. This should be. Maybe we'll make that sort of a yellow coming down there. And we'll sort of try and make this closer to the sky in colour. And I think we'll bring back this. Now we'll try and make that road. That's better, isn't it? I find with my painting I have to stand back and take a look at things to see where I'm going. I can't just sort of sit there and paint the thing all in one fell swoop. I think it's wonderful that some people can, but that's just not the way I paint. So I've decided this is somewhere, perhaps in England where I come from, or Europe, and I'm going to make some red tile roofs. We do see those in England and France. There, oops, that was the road. And So that's what I'm putting in, just a suggestion of roofs. And then I'll mix in a little white and just give a sort of downward swoop, suggesting building. Is that enough, do you think? I might have to work on that. Okay. Keep losing my road, don't I? I'm just wiping off my brush in the foreground here. It just adds colour that I've used in other parts, and it sort of brings my painting together when I do that. Okay, I'm mixing raw umber with the blue to give me a very dark brown, and I'm going to say that light is sort of in this direction in a sort of half-hearted way, and I'm going to put shadow in that direction. Oh my goodness me, my dog is just... I think that's coming along. I think if I look at my drawing, I had a couple of tall, right here, look, see? I had a couple of those cypress. Okay, I'm going to put those in there. I'm so sorry about my dog. I can't do anything about him. He just naps and snores. Okay. I'll put those in a little stronger up there. And I have some willows in my drawing that sort of come down this way. And really, I mean, I'm doing a lot of smudgy stuff here. It's sort of getting the shapes, the outlines of things that tell you what they are. I used to have a lovely willow in one place that I lived, and my animals love that because, you know, you can pick off these long swathes of willow, and if you've got cats, they make a great wand to play with. Okay, I'm going to make a little bluer. And I'm going to use my little round, and I'm going to put in, you know, this really isn't detailed anymore, is it? Because you just cannot get too much detail in with Impasto. Well, some people might be able to. But I can't. And I'm going to put some sort of rushes here. Do they look like rushes? They will look like rushes by the time I've done. And I'm using my fan brush. It's a very old bristle fan brush. If you don't have very old brushes like I do, I really don't know what you do, because I feel old brushes are invaluable. You get much more character out of them. And I don't know what you do if you don't have an old brush. That's good for now. Okay, so I'm going to turn it off for a little while, take a look at it, and see what I want to do next. It's coming along. Let me encourage you there. So when you're working with acrylics, there's no time to contemplate things. You've got to get on with it. No time for a cup of tea, sip of lemonade maybe. So we'll just have to go, and I'm going to, I think, having looked at my sketch, this was more humpback bridge. Does that look better? And one thing I like about it is I like this lit area down here, and I don't want to lose that. And I think to enhance that, I need to make it darker on the side. So I'm just going to put in some blue, some green, some brown. And to give you that impression that you're looking through into a sunlit veil. Does that sound right? And I'm going to say that there's a shrub of some kind here, and that we have this same darkness on this side. And let's see if that gets the effect. Maybe I'll put that out here a bit more. I think it will, and I'm going to extend this along, just along the bottom. Green, brown, and blue. And I think they throw a bit of shadow, don't they? Well, I don't know, it depends which direction your light is coming from. See, I think that's enhanced that effect. And I think I'm going to make this a little lighter, yellower. Yellower here. Here. Am I getting there? I'm going to make that a yellow field over there and down here. finished with these trees. I haven't finished with these houses, but I'm going to say that there is, in English villages, you always get a lot of trees. And I'm saying this is ignorant. I have no idea where this is. This is in my head. I have no idea where this might really be. But it's a lot of my favorite things. Okay, patches and stuff. I'm going to put in a line down here. Maybe along there. And across here. I think we have some shrubs coming up here over the road. Perhaps a hedgerow. And on the other side of the road. And I don't know if I'm getting too detailed now. Maybe some rocks here. Whoops. Yeah, I think that's a little too detailed. I don't know, I think it's a little, it's not quite England, is it? I haven't lived there for more than 50 years. I have been back to visit from time to time, but I don't really think I know it anymore. Maybe there's something over here. What do you think? Don't have to be too detailed. Just using my fan brush, dabbing around. Gives you the idea of stuff growing. I think I like that meadow where the horses are to be a little more smooth. And a little greener in places. I don't know. Maybe we could have a rock here somewhere. I like that. Yeah, that looks kind of rock-like, doesn't it? Pull up some weedy stuff around them. I'm going to make this a little darker. That's better. We'll put some shade in the water. Well, some reflection in the water, I mean, really. That's not very good. And we'll put some blue. And put a oh, here we go again. Loud snore. That does not look like a church, does it? I don't know. Try that again. I'm going to try it in a grey. English churches are quite often Norman, aren't they? And they have that grey look, but they usually have dark slate roofs too, so maybe a dark slate roof. Steeple. I don't know. I'm not happy with that. Let's put some greenery in there. Put in some branches. I don't know. I don't think the impasto is my thing. Putting in some lights here and there. Just daubing it on. Using yellow. Put some on the willows. I'm just sort of stroking it down to give that effect. And they're in the water too, aren't they? I'm not too keen on that water either. Down by the bridge. I'm going to use another brush. I'm into my short brushes now. My paints are beginning to dry up. Okay. Now I'm going to I don't think I can do this. I'm not sure. I can't do it as well in impasto, I feel, as I would like. I just do not have the skill. I don't know. Hey, it's the best I can do. It's a suggestion of a bridge. That's what it is. I'm just going in very slightly darker green here. Tell me, really. And I'm going to put in some little shadow stuff here. I don't know what these are. Maybe these are not reeds. Maybe it's like a little bush at the edge of the river. Going to put a little more colour on my horse. I don't know if I can do much of that. You know, I am thinking this might be the best I can do with Impasto. Don't let me discourage you. If you look on YouTube, you will find someone who will do this marvelously well. It's just not me. But hey, you know, I don't do these as a tutorial. I do them as me sharing my painting and my painting experience, and you may like it or you may not, but I'm not representing it as anything that it isn't. So I feel that it's my experience. See, I put that on there because I got my brush caught in there. I'll lighten these up just a little. Put in more lights. Maybe that's not a church. I tell you what, maybe it's another cypress tree. There we go. It wasn't a church, it was a cypress tree. I'm going to try and put in some tiny dark dots on just a couple of these houses. And that was successful. I'm going to call that a day because I enjoyed doing it. I'm going to live with it a little while and see if there's anything else I want to do with it. And I may not record that because sometimes it gets to be late at night and the light's not that good. So I'm going to live with it for a few hours. But the thing is, these are acrylics, and I may see things that I want to do, but I don't want to put fresh paints out because I'll know they'd be wasted. I do feel that that could be darker there. I'm happy with that right now. After living with it for a while, I feel it turned out quite well. I think it's quite a pretty painting. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please help my channel grow by giving me a thumbs up. The algorithm can find me then. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.